For 100 years, North Carolina Realtors have advocated for private property rights, maintained the highest standards of professionalism for clients, and faced the inevitable challenges that changing times bring. But our history is only half our story. This year, as NC Realtors celebrates this remarkable milestone, not only will we be reflecting on our achievements and the lessons of the past, we will be looking ahead to our future. Each one of our members, past, present, and future, add to our association's legacy. 100 years, 100 stories. Join us as we celebrate 100 years by sharing your story at ncrealtors100.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Member Forum. I'm Kelly Marks, your 2021 NC Realtors President. If the video didn't give it away, well, I hope you all know this big year for NC Realtors. We're celebrating our centennial. That's 100 years of advancing North Carolina by advocating for private property rights, maintaining the highest standards of professionalism for clients, and providing you, our members, with the tools to achieve success. I look forward to watching our history unfold this year through digital storytelling. I hope you all will consider sharing your story. Every single one of you are an integral part of this organization's rich history, whether you believe it or not, and whether you know it or not. This history is only half our story. The best is yet to come. I'm proud to serve as your president during our centennial, and I look forward to working with you this year to blaze a path for the next 100 years plus. The Member Forum is a time of association updates, reports, presentations. But before we get started today, I want to offer a heads up that we're recording this meeting, so if for some reason you miss it or you have others who'd like to share in it, please do share exactly what's going on with us. To kick things off this afternoon, I'd like to welcome special guest Michael C. McGrew, the NC Realtors endorsed candidate for 2022, first vice president of the National Association of Realtors. Mike's the CEO and chairman of McGrew Real Estate, a firm specializing in residential and commercial real estate, as well as development in Lawrence, Kansas. We all know about Lawrence, Kansas. They're the state who did so well, barring Roy Williams and returning him to his rightful owner. He's held many roles at the national level, including 9 years on NAR's board of directors, 5 years on the executive committee. So we're thrilled to have him here with us today. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mike McGrew, candidate of 2022 first vice president for the National Association of Realtors. Welcome, Mike.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm really glad that we were able to train Roy up and get him so that he could meet your standards there. I appreciate that. And congratulations, North Carolina, on 100 years. You guys look really good for 100. And congratulations. That's terrific. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here with you today. And most from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for your endorsement of my campaign for First Vice President 2022. They said I could talk for about 10 minutes today. If it was my script, I'd talk for about 2 minutes and let you ask me questions for the other 8, but I know that's not really the way we're set up today. I do want to encourage you to sign up and visit McGrewin22.com. That's where our website is. That's where all the information about our campaign is. If you don't know me and you'd like to know more about me, I'd love to engage with you there. We also have a town hall forum tomorrow. We're targeting that specifically to new NAR directors, but certainly you're welcome to attend if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about what we stand for and what we're trying to do in the future. But briefly, what we are hoping to do in the future is I've got 4 or 5 things that are pretty important to me, and I think they're important to all of us. The first one I would say is we need to close the homeownership gap. NAR needs to be an active participant in every way possible to change the gap that is evident right now between Black ownership and white ownership in the United States. It's 30 points, and that's not good. We need to find a way to get more Black families on the housing ladder to build that generational wealth. I think all of that helps us to enhance the fabric of our communities. So everything that NAR can do to be an advocate and that I can do personally to use the hopefully the presidency of NAR as a bully pulpit to find ways to close that homeownership gap. That's my job one. As an aside to that, we talk a lot about GSE reform, and I know there's been some movement on that recently, and I think it's been positive. One of the things that I think we could see in the future, and NAR has advocated for this, but I would increase the volume of our advocacy there, is GSE reform with regard to a provision in there called loan level pricing adjustments. As a person with a lower credit score who can qualify for a mortgage, unfortunately, if you can qualify for the mortgage at a 620 credit score, you're going to pay up to 3% more fees up front than someone who's got a 750 credit score. And in my view, that makes sense if you're buying a BMW or a color TV. But if you're buying a house, we want you to buy a house. We want you to have every opportunity to own real estate and to enhance your family wealth. And so I think what we can do is spread the costs of those fees throughout the entire capital structure of the GSEs, and that would increase the number of folks that could purchase a home. And as you know, once you buy a home, that's the last thing you're going to default on. You're going to stay strong with those payments. You're going to do everything you can to maintain your ownership. And again, I think that would be an enhancement to the system. For me personally and our realtor family, I would love to find ways to create opportunities for realtors to make small investments in real estate. One of the things that we tend to do is work on everybody else's properties, and we forget that we ought to be invested on our own account. And so many of my realtor friends find themselves at 70 years old or 75, and they're still working, not because they want to, but because they have to. If we can find ways to create real estate investment vehicles for our realtor family to invest in small ways, maybe these are $5,000 investments or $10,000 investments, not the typical cost of buying real estate, and keep them from having to do active management, I think we could have a real impact on the future of our realtor retirements. And hopefully someday we'll all be able to talk about retiring. The other thing that I would encourage is I've advocated in front of Congress on behalf of association health plans. The other thing about realtor wealth is we got to have healthy realtors. So if we can get if we can move the ball on the association health plan, I think that would be a very important thing to do. When I advocated for that in front of Congress in 2018, we actually won the day. But then 13 attorneys generals filed lawsuits, and so that is still now in the courts. But if we could get association health plans passed so that each of us as individual realtors and the head of our own corporation, if you will, could have our own health insurance through that kind of a program, at least 30% of our members would have the opportunity to have health insurance that don't have it today. To me, that's critically important. I think from an association standpoint, what I'd love to see is this newfound, as we're doing it right now, Zoom skill that we've all learned. A year ago, I didn't know what Zoom was. This time last year, I'd never heard of Zoom. And here we are doing it all the time. And in fact, now we know that the mid-year meetings will be completely Zoomed as well. But we've learned how to do it technically, and we've seen that we can get a lot greater participation from realtors, as we did last year in May. Had 28,000 folks participate in the DC meetings in May, as opposed to our typical 7,000 or 8,000 in person. I think that's terrific. I still know that we have the most impact when we're in DC face-to-face and person-to-person, but those additional 20,000 realtors have now been exposed to what NAR can do. And I think from that standpoint, the Zoom skill that we have learned that NAR has gotten pretty good at, we need to find a way to enhance that so that our newfound participants become engaged. It's one thing to show up for a meeting or two on Zoom. It's another thing to get engaged with the National Association of Realtors. So I am really encouraged by the fact that the Zoom skills that we've learned are something I think we can leverage going forward. Um, you may have heard of the REACH program, Second Century Ventures, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of the National Association of Realtors. REACH owns some 80 companies now, percentage in 80 companies now that are in the what they call prop tech space, the property technology space, that potentially could disrupt our businesses. But if we have the opportunity to mentor them, to engage with them at an early stage in their development, they're going to have a better product because they will have realtors helping them figure out how to do their product and their service better. But we will also have a piece of their company and an influence over how they go forward. They will much more likely be realtor friendly than realtor adversary. And so we now have 80 companies in our stable that way. REACH has expanded from REACH Residential United States to REACH UK, REACH Commercial, REACH Australia, and REACH Canada. And I think every chance we get to provide influence over these brilliant people that are coming up with new ways for us to do business, I think is money well spent, is time well spent, actually. And Bob Goldberg says, not invented here. It's not even always invented in the United States. So the idea that we're expanding this globally, I think, is brilliant. And I would absolutely double down on that effort. One of the things that we've talked about that came out on November 18th last year was Fairhaven. And if you haven't done Fairhaven yet, the simulation, I encourage you to do that. I did it, and I'm pleased to say I managed to get 4 properties sold in the 28 virtual days that I was allowed. But I learned some things and was reminded of some things that I think are very important. And it was an entertaining and interesting exercise. So I would encourage you, we all got busy lives, but take an hour and a half, and you don't have to do it all at once. You can save your place and then come back to it. But I would encourage you to explore the Fairhaven simulation, and I think it will be helpful to you, and I think you'll be interested to see how it turns out. I would probably close by saying the most important thing that I learned when I was treasurer. I was your national treasurer from 2014 to 2016. And my job was to take care of the members' assets and communicate to the members about their assets. And, this is now a $300 million a year company, $800 million in net assets. It is a very complex, large organization that we are all a part of. But the thing that I learned that was the most valuable asset that I was most encouraged by is the members' trust. No matter how much money we have or how many people we have under our tent, if they don't trust the leadership, if they don't trust the system, then you see what happens. You saw what happened here recently with the President's Circle issue and the fact that RPAC is now gone paused. And I completely agree with the fact that they paused RPAC for the moment. I think we would be back. I'm 100% committed to the Realtor Party, as I know all of you are. But I think it makes sense to revisit things from time to time. And this certainly was an amazing year that we just got through. And it doesn't seem like it's a mistake for us to look at our policies and our procedures and see if there are some things we can make better. But having said that, that member trust is the most valuable asset we have. And from my perspective, it would be the thing that I would cherish the most and I would work the hardest to protect if I'm given the opportunity to be your leader. But I do want to thank you all for all of your support and your friendship. And I saw the list of participants, and I know a whole bunch of you out there. I look forward to visiting with you in the future. And if you have questions for me, McGruin22 is where you can find us and get a hold of me. And I'd be very, very pleased to talk to any of you individually anytime.
Great. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your comments. I think everyone here is certainly, through your comments, certainly have a great feel for why it is that we're so supportive of you, your knowledge, your depth, your transparency, your wealth of information and experience on the executive committee, and particularly as far as treasurer, and just your overall ideas. Association Healthcare, fortunately, North Carolina is poised with our governor to allow us to to have it if those lawsuits can get resolved. And you're right, Mike, we just have so many realtors who are uninsured or paying way too much because of our independent contractor status. But even so, home ownership matters, and the gap that you're talking about and so many of the other ideas. So thank you so much for speaking with us today. And again, that's why for McGrew in 22. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I appreciate your reference to basketball. It's not a great year for all of us in basketball, but hey, at least we're playing, right? At least we get something to watch once in a while. So
we're playing, this is the first time since 1961 that Kentucky, Duke, and Carolina have not been ranked. And I think that's just quite honestly more about the environment we're in and the cancellation of games and everybody getting into a flow than it is the quality of the actual programs themselves. So, but you're right, it is something to watch. And hey, we've got a bubble coming to Indianapolis in March.
I hope we'll have a chance to watch that. It'll be March Madness of a different variety, that's for sure.
It will. Mike, thank you so much. And again, everyone, please go to his website, reach out to Mike. He's very accessible. He's our guy. So once again, Mike, thank you so much in regards to your wife and lovely family.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon.
At this point, I'd now like to invite our 2020 president, Marion Brisson-Kuster, to join me on the screen. There she is. Marion, this is, it's always nice to, everyone talks about to win the bonus round, but I think in this case, it's all about the lovely parting gifts. So, which I'm all about the lovely parting gifts. So it's my pleasure now to present a few gifts and sincere appreciation for your work on behalf of the association this past year. And clearly what a year it was. We'll get these gifts to you under safe and socially distant circumstances, but I'd like to go over a little bit about what you're going to be receiving. This is like Don Pardo. So first, we have a plaque to add to your shelves. And while I know you have many, many plaques and awards, but hopefully you'll look at this plaque with great fondness and accomplishment for what it truly means. And we're so glad to have had you here for us last year. We talk about the fact that you were the right person at the right time, representing grace under pressure. You were always, without fail, grateful for your leadership, the guidance, resilience, your Zoom etiquette, your three things. So at this point, certainly would like to award you as far as your plaque, which again, we'll get to you, but also is the honor of the Omega Tau Rho Medallion, which represents membership into the honorary fraternity. We know you're going to wear this proudly. I've seen many of the past presidents wear it at other inaugurations. I look forward to seeing you in yours, and it certainly identifies you as a former president of the North Carolina Realtor Organization. And we also have for you, what would it be if you didn't get a gift card? So we're going to get you a gift card for your incredible service of the past year. I don't know that it'll touch the level of service that you gave us, but hopefully it'll be something that you'll be able to do a little something nice for yourself and your family. I can also tell you that I know you're not the only one who feels this way about your year and the satisfaction that we all have for you, and perhaps maybe not the year that you wanted. But I will tell you right now, here's some of your peers who would like to say a few things.
Okay, Marin girl.
Hola, chica.
Hello, Marin.
Marin, wow, what a year.
I cannot imagine 2020 without you as president.
Standard advice to an incoming president is you can have your agenda, but the issues will find you. Well, we all know this year found you in spades.
They say right leader at the right time at the right place. You have been the person we've needed this year to handle what needed to be handled.
We really appreciate everything you've done. I can't think of a worse year to be president of anything, really. But I also can't think of a better person to do it than you.
And this year, you have stood up. You did an outstanding job.
COVID-19 put up obviously unforeseen roadblocks and challenges, but they never stopped you from accomplishing all that needed to be accomplished on behalf of our members and staff.
You've done an amazing job. Your leadership is incredible.
You are an inspiration to all of us, and I am honored to have served with you.
I am so proud of what you've done and how you've handled yourself and how you've inspired us this year.
You are one of a kind. You are an original. You do things the way you think you should, and it's always the right call.
You truly are a role model, not only for realtors in the industry, not only for volunteer leaders. I know that you are also a role model for those boys of yours.
What you've achieved and done this year has been just an outstanding victory, not only for you, but for our entire association.
You are an amazing person, amazing woman.
You truly epitomized being the right president at the right time. You were wonderful, and I thank you.
Thank you for giving back to our association, and you have set an example for leaders to come.
Thank you from everyone.
Thank you, Marin.
Thank you, Marin.
Thank you, Marin.
Thank you, Marin.
Marin, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marin.
Thank you, Marin.
Thank you, Marin.
Thank you, Marin.
And Marin, from all of us at NC Realtors, thank you so much. And it's hard to express the depth of everyone who's spoken and what you've meant to this organization. And needless to say, if we had to say, it'd go well beyond three things, multiple times. So at this point, thank you for a job well done, and would love to hear any comments that you'd like to depart with.
Well, thank you, Kelly. And that was truly a surprise, that little video. So y'all know how to get a girl choked up. It was a real honor and a privilege to serve this organization. It really is more than anyone can ever understand until you sit in that seat, that it is more of a privilege than a job. And it's one that you must always take seriously. Of course, the year 2020 taught us, if nothing else, pivot and turn, right? Plant that back foot and move. Whatever analogy you want to put forward for it, it was a year to remember, right? But we all had that. And that is truly what makes me so proud of last year. We had to pivot. There was no set agenda. There was no set deal. You know what we had to do? We had to defend our right to stay in business. We had to defend the rights of our companies. We had to defend our communities, and we had to stand up and do what's right. I'm proud of this organization for standing up and standing out and speaking out in a time of need for this country. We didn't just ride the wave of COVID. We also rode the wave of change, and we are riding it and setting our own course. And I'll tell you, if nothing else should be marked for 20, it is that. We have set the foundation for this organization to move forward another 100 years and revolutionize our communities and our industry. We believe in fair housing and equality for all, and we've put the money where the mouth is on that one, and that's huge. We all know that we have shadows in the past that we can't turn away from. What we can do is turn towards the light and continue to walk a path. Together, we're stronger. I'm very proud of everything we stand for as an organization, and every one of you should be as well. We have a great couple of years coming ahead of us, and we'll have many more beyond that. I can tell you that under the leadership of Kelly and Wendy, you will continue to see change, and you will continue to see it stewarded responsibly, right? And effectively. And that is what the job is at that role, to take care of the members and the communities we serve. So it was a true honor to do that last year for just a little bit. So thank you for bearing with me on my 3 Things videos. I didn't get to come see you all in person. And for that, I regret. I missed that part of the presidency immensely. But I can tell you, I'm always here to serve. And if you ever need me, all you have to do is give me a shout. And Kelly, I'm really looking forward to your year. So with that, I don't have much more to say because this show is yours to run. But I do have one thing to do before I turn it back over. I have a little gift that is called the President's Gift. And you get to give that away every year to someone who indirectly, directly, in any capacity affected your role and made you better. And I have to tell you that there is one person that will be no surprise to them or to anyone else why they're receiving this. This person, no matter what, is a supporter, is a cheerleader, is a champion, and is a bulldog. And guess what? We all need that. This industry needs that. And this association needs that. And with that, I'd like to present this year's award to Cindy Chandler. No one else could be more deserved. So with that, Cindy, I don't even know if you're on here. I hope you are, but you deserve it. And I love you. Thank you for everything. And Kelly, it's back to you.
What a great choice. And congratulations, Cindy. I'm really speechless. What a wonderful, wonderful selection. I couldn't agree with you more. And Maren, again, thank you so much. Fortunately, you're not going very far, and look forward to calling on you and getting advice in 1, 2, 3, 4 things, whatever the case may be. I'm here for sure. So
I'm not in the glue factory yet.
Not in the glue factory. And I'm not even willing to throw you under the bus at any time. So there you go. Well,
thank you, Kelly.
At this time, I'd now like to call up on the agenda our NC Realtors PAC report, and another all-star, Lisa York. Please join me on the screen.
Good morning. How are you, Mr. President? Can everybody hear me? All right. I hope everybody's well. It was good to see you today. North Carolina Realtors PAC raised $930,215, reaching 103% of our $904,200 goal this year, with over 12,000 investors, bringing our participation to 26%. We exceeded our goal, and it was the most successful fundraising year in North Carolina Realtors history. Our goal for this year is to be higher than what we raised last year in order to qualify for NAR awards. Therefore, we have set our 2021 goal at $931,000. We hope to have local association goals finalized this week from NAR. To date, North Carolina Realtors PAC has raised more than $265,000, and over 8,115 members have already invested in their industry and future by investing in our PAC. I hope everyone is ready to start this year with renewed optimism and purpose. North Carolina Realtors PAC has already started 2021 off great. The North Carolina Realtors PAC trustees have been hard at work planning some exciting fundraisers for all of you to participate in this year. We just rolled out the statewide raffle that will run through April 30th. This is the largest raffle we have ever done, with a $15,000 cash grand prize with an additional 35 $1,000 prizes. We will also have some new virtual whiskey, tequila, and wine tastings, and of course, an auction later this year. If not in person, I think we're going to do a virtual. So hang on to your pants. I hope all of you are as energized for what's to come as much as I am. For my year as your North Carolina Realtors PAC chair, I want you to remember one thing. We GOAT this. Together, we're going to make 2021 the year of the GOAT, which is the greatest of all time. This year, myself and the trustees are going to do our very best to achieve Triple Crown Award for our state, and I need your help. We need everyone to join the North Carolina Realtors PAC team now more than ever. Last but not least, please make plans to attend the North Carolina Realtors PAC Realtor Party virtual training January 26th. We got some exciting things going to happen. We're looking forward to working with you to make this the year of the GOAT. Thank you all, and be safe. I wish you well. Be well. Talk to you soon.
Lisa, thank you so much. And we've got about 138 participants on the call. Everyone, please invest in our PAC. Give your fair share. Become a major investor. It's important. If last year, and exactly what Marion said, keeping real estate as essential services, our ability to stay in business, help our clients through their hardships as well, the ability for independent contractors with, again, the ability to have unemployment and small business association loans more readily available to us to keep us in business. Those are all terrific reasons why it is that your contribution, your investment matters. So please invest. At this point, I'd like to now ask Adam to come up and make a presentation. Adam Upchurch, he's chair of the Diversity Committee, and he's going to give us an update on the association's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Adam, you're on.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you trusting in me this year to handle this committee and try our best to keep propelling everybody's hopes and aspirations forward. Hello to our incredible member base across the state. I hope you and your family are staying safe and healthy during these challenging times. When they first asked me to come on and speak amongst all these incredible presidents, I thought they lost their mind. But luckily, that was not the case, and I feel very humbled to be able to speak to you guys today. So what I wanted to do is very fortunate to have great staff. Staff prepared this slideshow for you guys. So I'm going to go through and highlight each of these individual points of what we are currently working on with our diversity committee. We had our meeting this morning and I was able to go into much more great detail with it, but in the essence of time and everybody doing what they're doing here with this meeting, I'm just going to read through this and then say a quick piece about it. So on this next slide, Mackenzie's going to be controlling this for me to get these up for you guys, and I appreciate that. This is the diversity and inclusion statement that North Carolina has put out. And I'm going to read through this and then go through. So NC Realtors, representing over 50,000 realtors who reside in diverse communities across North Carolina, embodies our Realtor Code of Ethics, the governing document which protects the housing rights of all people, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. We embrace equality and inclusivity, honoring individuals and respecting differing perspectives to reach common goals for the betterment of all. Racism and discrimination have no home in North Carolina. And that couldn't have been put, honestly, any better. I know they put a lot of effort into this, and it's worded very well for what we want to embody as a member base. And on this next slide, it will highlight what our diversity committee's mission is throughout the course of this year. Our goal is to promote realtor voices in an inclusionary manner that reflects its members, local communities, and statewide diversity opportunities and initiatives. And obviously, we're in a challenging year with COVID right now. And, at least for the first 2 quarters of this year, we're going to have difficulty being able to go out locally, visit your individual association. But I want to make sure, especially with everybody on this call, I talked about it this morning, so I apologize if I'm regurgitating some of this information to people who already heard it this morning, but I myself and our great staff, Carrie and Amy, are more than welcome to go out if you will reach out to us in terms of going to your local association to help either set up a diversity committee there, help speak at your existing diversity committee to help it grow, to help provide any additional support that we can do. And we're working on other pieces, which will be covered in this, of how we can help take those next steps. So on this next slide, it talks about what our diversity committee's 2021 goals are. And we've both met in person and on multiple Zoom calls to go over these items. And I'm going to touch on each of these bullet points, and I'm going to elaborate on them a little bit as we go. So the first one is the key point for this year, and that is work with a company called Walk West and their initiative, the Diversity Movement, to ensure and assist with comprehensive assessment and training for staff, leadership, and members throughout the association. This is a major project. And I'm going to cover it in more detail than probably any of these other points as we go through on the next couple of slides. But I just want to say on the forefront of this that this is something that has been in the works. This is something Marin worked on hard last year with NCR staff. And this is, instead of, we hear a lot of these companies that come out and they say, hey, look, we're going to give a statement about what's currently happening out in public. We're going to, put it out there, but then it falls by the wayside. They don't take that next step. They don't, put their money where their mouth is. And in this case, I will tell you, this is full commitment. I was on the Budget and Finance Committee last year, and I can tell you they went full force without hesitation to put money towards this. And it's a lot of money, but it is worth it. And it is for a full renovation and for people being able to change the culture and work on establishing a great base point for us to jump off for our NC staff and for us to be able to work with the leadership. So again, I'll go through that a little bit more, but our second point is consult with local associations on real estate course offered in communities through HBCUs or community college. Provide funding for at least one board to host this type of course in 2021. There's going to be a lot more to come out on this in the coming months and later this year, but this is an incredible initiative. We're constantly trying to figure out ways to get any different people that do not have the same resources that others do to be able to get into, real estate field and help out on these local initiatives, and for them to be able to gain access to real, education and real courses that will allow them to have better access to what we provide. And so these scholarships, these offerings that we're going to be doing with this course is going to help all across the state. And it's going to hopefully help our local associations be able to bring in more well-educated agents, which we all know helps all of us, because we don't like doing the work of two agents. We want to make sure the people are intelligent coming into the field and can jump right into it with both feet on the ground. So that is a big initiative, and we're looking forward to the next steps that are going to be involved there. The third step is one that's really important to me, and I made that clear to the staff, and that is ensure every voice on our diversity committee is heard and valued. And I'm doing that by meeting individually with each of our members. A lot of people don't realize, but the diversity committee is the largest state committee there is. We have the most members. And a lot of times it can be difficult to get everyone engaged and hear everyone's perspective on things. Some people are quieter than others, and some, are more engaged. And I just want to make sure that we work hard throughout the course of this year to make sure that everyone feels heard, and to make sure that we understand how they can best help all of us grow and propel things forward with our diversity committee. On this next slide, it talks about the other three, which is engage each diversity committee member and assist them in developing and growing their local diversity committee. This is key, because we can do what we can do on a state level, but unless we have trickle down to our local associations, we're never really going to have the ability to get you engaged as a member. We can only have so many people on a statewide diversity committee, and we've about maxed that out as much as we can. But helping out locally is what's going to actually make a difference in your community. And I think that by us being able to hop on a Zoom call or go out to the association when we're allowed to do so, us being able to provide a toolkit, which is something that we're currently working on and will be through this Walk West Diversity Movement information that's going to be coming out. Those are all key points of what we can bring to the table and what we want to bring to the table. That's why we're donating our time. That's why we're part of this diversity committee, is to see those next steps be taken. And, it's key because you have to start where you are. You have to start, where you can with what you have. And what we have are amazing people that are ready to go. And that's what we need to utilize while they're here for us. The next item is retain as many members of the diversity committee as possible for 2022. I love the idea of this. This is something that we've constantly seen over the course of many years, which is a lot of members come back, they serve on it. it's difficult because there are so many people that want to be involved in the state diversity committee, and that's a great thing. But again, you can only have but so many people in order to be able to hear everyone and allow everyone to be involved at a strong level. So, we welcome any new members, but we want to see the consistency of the year-over-year knowledge and those relationships to be able to move forward. So that's a key thing that we want to work on. And then lastly, identify conversations and initiatives that have stalled and allow the committee to assist in moving those ideas forward. I sat in a regional caucus meeting year before last, and I hope Marin doesn't mind, but I remember Marin coming into the meeting and her specifically talking about the budget and talking about how things need to be run on a 3-year plan and how that's the most effective way to run things. And I think that what we see is when we have year over year a new chair come in, a new person, some of the things that you hope to have gotten accomplished can't reach that full benefit, or can't fully be realized. And especially with last year with COVID happening and what we're dealing with this year, Marbella was our chair last year for diversity committee. She did everything she possibly could have. But a lot of those things still need to be pushed forward. And that's what we're going to work towards. We're going to try to revitalize things that started and had not grown to their full potential. And we're going to work on these new things that we have listed here on this. So on this next slide, we're going to kind of go into this with Walk West. I want you to have a full understanding of how big this is, because it is really important. NC Realtors seeks to make diversity and inclusion an integral part of its culture in 2021. Work with the diversity movement will begin with focus on 2 key areas. And I just want to say this real quick. I've watched these videos with Walk West. I've learned a lot about this company. And there's one key thing that really stuck with me was there was a quote that says, "Culture eats policy for breakfast." And I think that really sums up what we're dealing with here, because there's a lot of these companies that just initiate policy just because they feel they're obligated to do so. That is not what's happening here. This is a full culture change. This is what NC Realtors wants to do and is investing the money and is really getting out of their comfort zone to do, because you'll see through I'm getting ready to talk about what those steps are. So planning and strategy and education. And on this next slide, you'll see how this goes in. So it says the initial D&I review and planning with NCR staff and leadership, listening and sharing sessions to create mission, vision, and values. And what they're talking about there is Walk West will come in. They will essentially interview staff. They'll find out what the current culture is within, all of leadership. And what they do is they go back. Walk West actually formulates a customized plan according to what they found, not just some generic plan that was written up that they just hand out to every, company. This is custom tailored to us. And I think that's key here. So on this next slide, you'll see it has this about the education. And so this talks about foundational online learning for the executive team and leadership, execution of the D&I training sessions for the AEs, and certified diversity executives, the CDE education for key staff. So what this is talking about is after they've formulated the plan, they bring it to NCR Realtors, and then they don't just give it to them. They actually walk them through these foundational learning classes. And we have already got set up right now for 46 people to take this training throughout the staff and leadership and the president. And I'm going to be in it as well, so that we as the diversity committee leaders can go and make sure that this is communicated, not just to our committee, but to the local level as well. So really, really important, and really important to understand the commitment that's going into this, because it truly is pretty impressive. On this next slide, you'll see kind of the breakdown for our engagement timeline here. So you'll see we've already started off this NCR sharing background. So, I'm not going to go through all this. You guys can see here in this timeline all these steps that are being taken, but there's a lot broken out between the planning and strategy and the education breakdown here. And as you can see, this is not just even the first month or two. This is a full leading into the spring and even into the summer with a lot of the training sessions that we've got. So a lot to go through, a lot to speak on, and a lot to learn through all of this that we've got listed here. On this next slide, this is something that came up during our diversity committee meeting today. And I'm glad this slide is in here because it speaks to, hey, we just talked about all of this for, Walk West and changing the culture or revitalizing the culture that we currently have. And all of that ties in to helping out local associations, and all of that ties into our fair housing. And so just reading what it has here, NC Realtors will address fair housing laws and realtor support for them by utilizing NAR fair housing ads and other messaging in public relations and media campaigns, advocating for legislative and regulatory support for fair housing at the state level and local government levels. So, this is not just coming in and just saying, hey, we're going to push this year. This is actually taking those steps to say, these are the steps we're going to take. And it's much more detailed than this. This is giving you the bullet points of what we're doing. But there's a lot more engagement and involvement in taking care of pushing fair housing forward for our state as a state, but also at those local levels. And so there'll be a lot more to go over that over the course of this year. But again, I just want to say how appreciative I am for everything that the support from our staff here and all they have done to not only put this stuff together, but to help guide me through everything. And so anyway, on this next slide, you'll see that we've got this for the your QR code that you can scan to join our Facebook group. I will tell you, our Facebook group is over 500 members right now. It is a closed group, so you can feel comfortable speaking about whatever you feel is most important to you, or if you just need to vent about something, let everybody know how you're feeling. Know that it is a safe space. We want you to engage. We want to speak to you about it because it is a closed group. If you have something that you think is important and you want to add, you can email it directly to Carrie or to Amy on the staff, and they will review. And if it's appropriate, they will go ahead and post it to that Facebook page. And you can certainly share any of the stuff on there to your local your own Facebook page so that others can see it and share into this. But I just want to say there's been a lot of effort that's gone into revitalizing that had kind of stalled. That was one of those items. And staff did a great job last year, really pushing that forward after Mosaic. And we're looking forward to all the great things that are yet to come. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Kelly, and thank you for your time.
Adam, I will tell you that you're the right person for this. You've got great passion. Thank you so much for taking this on. And I think everyone here, as far as seeing with the depth of this program and effort, which is absolutely critical, that you can see as far as with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, not only the passion involved, but the purposeness as far as with the critically important focus moving forward. And that's not only in the forefront, but you can see it in the planning, the education, the top down through the entire membership, from leadership staff all the way down to all of our members. The timing is right. This is something that certainly as far as with the fair housing and inclusion, it's going to become even more of a premier importance. And it's about time. So I'm excited for Adam, quite honestly, your leadership, the staff, Amy and Carrie, and the entire diversity committee. We're also seeing so many of the other organizations, the boards around the state, having diversity committees, and delighted to have that project. I know that we're definitely on the right track, and very excited to finally reach as far as this and see our goals come true. At this point, it's now time to introduce Antonio Worsham. He is head of the North Carolina Realtors Housing Foundation. He's going to give our report right now. So Antonio, you're on.
Why, thank you, Kelly. I'm Antonio, president of the North Carolina Realtors Housing Foundation, and I am so excited. You know, we started as we look back on 2020, and right now, as we say 2020, you're usually associating that with negative, but there's also a whole lot of good that came out of it that, you know, if the situation didn't do it, I don't know if it would have ever come to fruition. We've had to, as Maren said a little while ago, you know, pivot and make changes and things that, you know, the Housing Foundation is designed for, you know, it's our and your charitable foundation. It's to provide housing opportunities through education and community-based initiatives, including disaster relief. And I've heard earlier this summer or early in this year where somebody came and wanted to meet and said, well, what does the NC, and some people called it Homes for NC, but the NC Realtors Housing Foundation do? You're not really doing anything. And I almost took offense because I thought that sometimes you really don't understand. So I'm just going to go just over real quickly a couple of the things that we need and that we do. First of all, we provide disaster relief during the hurricanes, during the tornadoes, during the storms, where we help people that were undergoing flooding and to provide houses. We helped our members that, you know, were knocked out from flooding or hurricanes and could not work and saw their income. But most of all, and I'm so pleased that we've partnered with the NC Realtors this year and helped out, and I call it a disaster, but it was with COVID-19 relief. People that could not pay their rent. We gave over $200,000 to help people in our communities meet their housing goals in order to help and pay their rent, because it's usually the people that need it the most that it's hardest for them to get the funds. And that's why we want you to partner with us. We provide matching grants. I was touched last month because one of the grant recipients this year was Purple Heart Homes. And what I did was take a couple people, and we actually went at one of these homes and observed, and also got down, got dirty, helped. It was a cold, drizzly day, but we actually, for a disabled veteran who needed a home or had a home but needed repairs, he did his time. He served in Iraq and Afghanistan, but he was wounded by shrapnel, and we were able to go into his house and help make things to improve his lifestyle. The project actually took longer, but it was just a short period, but he was so appreciative. And that's what foundations are all about. That's what we need to do. And you do it. You do it as members. You do it every day. So one of the things we want to do this year, and we need your help, is we're going to engage more with our members. Everyone on my board will actually be tied to a region, and also we need ambassadors from every association to communicate what you're doing in your community so that we can help, so that we can assist, so that we can get more done in our community. And I want it personal. I don't have a long report, but I want you to take this as personal. The foundation is personal to me because I believe in strong communities. I got into this business not to just make a whole lot of money, even though that's good, but also to make sure that we can touch the communities that we live in, that we can do these things. So we've done COVID relief, we've done matching grants, but we also want to educate you, our members. We have a workforce housing specialist certification that we would like. Right now, the percentage isn't high enough. And that's to help people that are trying hard to work for a house. They want to buy a house. They want to buy a house. And it needs you to learn and make sure you know about the funding opportunities and the grants that are available to our customers and clients. And there's a certification for that, and we want to do that. But we also provide you scholarships to help with that, to help with your certification to achieve it, because we don't want you to have to be out there spending all of your money. We want you to be out there helping in the community. We have down payment assistance that we need more. We've almost doubled it this year. We need you to help increase that even more, to make sure that our public servants, that our first responders can get additional funds to help them purchase a home. So I ask you to make sure you pull together with us. We will be reaching out to every association, to every region, to make sure. But right now we have a couple of things, and I can't forget this, that are going on right now. We do have a raffle. The raffle is $25, just $25. We need all of you to buy about 10 to 100 tickets. No, I'm just playing, but if you want to, you are welcome to, for a $2,500 prize. This runs into the end of April the 30th. We will also start in the 1st of April for our spring matching grant program. So follow up with us. Talk to us, engage with us. I've talked to several associations that want to know, how can I get involved? Some don't have foundations, some do. We're not here to compete with your foundation if you have a foundation at your association, but we're here to enhance it wherever we can. And if you don't have one, to give you a vehicle to go out, work in the community, touch people, because we care. We care, and we want you to care. We know you as Realtor members care. We also have Coins for Caring. We did this last year. We raised thousands of dollars to help with projects that lasted for our Realtor Give Back Day. It was June the 24th last year. We had to pivot because of COVID, make it virtual, but we need you to, at that point in time, start giving back, where we will help to fund you with projects to help in the community. So, but we need you to also give. You can go to ncrealtorshf.org and you can donate there. We will have other ways for you to give. We're looking at some robust programs, but I just want to say your foundation is here for you. We're here for the community, and we need you to get engaged. Thank you.
Very good, Antonio. Thank you so much. Look, I also want to let, today I actually signed a check for down payment assistance and gave that to Brian. So no one can't tell me that it's going to make a difference to that homeowner tomorrow when they close on their home. And that's absolutely incredibly gratifying. I do encourage you to go on and buy raffle tickets. Just remember, if you buy 4 raffle tickets, make a $100 contribution to the North Carolina Housing Opportunity Foundation, and also contribute $100 to RPAC. That qualifies you for your quality of life pin. I'd love to see as many of those pins around North Carolina as we possibly can. So Antonio, great job. There you go. That's what it looks like. That's what I'm talking about. So thank you so much. At this time, to end the presentation, I'd like to ask if we could at this point, NAR Strategy Committee, invite Amy Hedgecock, Asa Fleming, Kim Dawson, and Randall Blankenship to the screen for a presentation.
Thank you, Kelly. But I think we are going to start with a short video, and then we will get to the panelists after that.
Do you look around at other realtors and wonder what makes them so successful? How do they keep up to date with changing laws and technology? How do they seem to know every other realtor in America? Well, join us today as we follow John, a realtor from Anytown, North Carolina, as he learns what it takes to become a better realtor and to be part of the NAR committees of tomorrow.
Golly gee, Mrs. Jones, I sure would like that listing.
I'm sure you would, Johnny.
but I've already signed with Realtor Janie. She told me about all the new rules that will help my condo sell, and she's also a member of one of those NAR committees.
That's too bad for little Johnny. If only he had stayed up to date with the latest federal policy changes, he may have nailed that listing. Let's see if he fares any better around the office.
I sure will, Joe. I look forward to helping your son when he comes down here looking for a new home. Bye-bye.
New client, Kim? Golly gee willikers, you sure get a lot of referrals.
That's right, Johnny. That was my friend Joe from Newton, Iowa. We serve on an NAR committee together where I have met lots of realtors from all across this great nation. I've helped so many NAR friends, I can't even remember what it was like before I served on an NAR committee.
Say, is that Realtor Bob over there? It looks like he's headed out for a round of golf.
It sure does look like a great day for golf, Bob. You always play with the keenest people. Who you grabbing the sticks with today, Bob?
Well, today I get to play with Senator Mulligan and some of his key legislative partners.
Wow, a senator. How'd you pull that off?
Well, Billy.
It's Johnny.
Whatever. I met Senator Mulligan through RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee. Gee golly, Senator Mulligan's a great guy. He does great work protecting our private property owners' rights. You know, you ought to join a realtor committee. It's good for your career and your golf game.
I think you're right, Bob. It's time I joined an NAR committee.
Now that Johnny has decided he wants to serve on an NAR committee, he needs to figure out how.
Lee, I think I'm ready to serve on an NAR committee, but how?
You need to remember 5 things.
Wow! Are you Mr. Wizard?
That's Miss Wizard to you.
Boy, that sure is a lot of knowledge Lee Brown is dropping on our pal Johnny. Now let's see how much of that information Johnny can recall as he fills out his NAR committee application.
Number 1, update your expertise profile at nar.realtor.
It looks like I'll need to upload a photo. But which one?
Careful there, Johnny. Make sure to use an up-to-date photo, not that one of you with a mullet.
Am I bilingual? Yes!
Johnny, sarcasm is not a language. Don't exaggerate on your expertise profile.
No.
What are you up to now, Johnny?
It says I have to upload a video. I want it to be great, but I'm really not sure how to use this equipment.
Just use your phone, Johnny. The people who review your application just want a quick snippet of who you are. Slow your roll there, Johnny. Do not use a Snapchat filter.
Hello, I'm John.
Great job, Johnny. Now how about we move on?
Number 2, select a committee that fits your passion. There are currently 100,000 million committees and forums from which to choose.
Now, NAR has over 90 boards, committees, and forums ranging from governance,
MLS policy, legislative issues, business trends, property management, commercial,
and many, many more. Johnny should be able to find a committee that suits his fancy.
Found one!
Whoa, 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 Johnny. Where are you going? There's still more to do.
What's more to do?
You still need to ask for endorsements from 3 people for each committee.
Why don't I email Mom and the ladies from her bridge club? Those ladies think I'm the bee's knees.
Remember what Lee Brown said, Johnny.
Number 3, your recommendations. Please do not call your mother's Sunday school class or your bridge club for recommendations. You need to select people who have expertise and who know your skills to give you a recommendation that will actually matter.
Okay, I'll email Lee Brown, Cindy Chandler, and Amy Hedgecock. She's swell. Dear colleague.
Stop right there, Johnny. Personalize that letter. If you send a Dear Colleague letter most of the time, it will get deleted. And don't forget to include a blurb that explains why you would be a good fit for the committee.
Right, I got it.
Number 4, the timeline. The dates are posted online, and it is very important that you actually pay attention to them, unlike the rest of your business life when you think details don't matter.
But golly, I've got until May 1st to get that done. I don't need to ask for them now.
Number 5, don't be stupid. Do not wait until the last possible minute to select a committee and request recommendations. That would be ugly and hateful.
I did it. I was selected to an NAR committee. I can now reach my full potential as a successful realtor and help shape the NAR committees of tomorrow.
Great. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank everybody who was involved in that video, but a shout out to John McPherson, who really truly embraced his role. So thank you guys for that. So with me today is Asa Fleming, Randall Blankenship, and Kim Dawson. Going to get started with you guys just so that you can tell our members how to get more involved at NAR and what they can do to better promote themselves at the national level. So if you could just quickly tell me, how did you get started with NAR, and what are the roles that you've served with or served in at NAR? Can everybody jump up at once?
Well, I'll start. My first committee at NAR was the MLS Policy Issues Committee back in 2013. And I got started on that because I was on the MLS board in the Triangle Association of Realtors. So that was my first adventure to a committee, and I have served a really diverse group of committees. There are two paths. There's kind of an advocacy side at NAR and an association affairs, and I have actually served on committees on both sides, from education to broker engagement, C2EX, and many others, as well as task force. And it's a great way to be involved and understand what's going on at the upper level. So it's very well worth it. I love serving on committees that are productive and make a difference, and that's what's great about all the committees at NAR.
Thanks, Kim. How about you, Asa?
So I think the first time I've ever got really involved at NAR was I was the local vice chair for the Government Affairs Committee. And one of the duties there was you got to go to the mid-year meetings in 2008, but it wouldn't be until 2014 that I actually got on the State and Local Issues Committee. And that was my first, committee that I served on at NAR. And that started it all for me.
Excellent. I got the ball rolling. How about you, Randall?
So mine started early on. Obviously I started in North Carolina Realtors really early, meeting people, and networking with folks as we had NAR representatives at our local meetings and such, and just kind of finding out and talking to others that were involved about what it took. And really it's just put your foot out there, do what you do it well, speak your mind, be respectful. Don't be a yes person in a room, and people take note of that. I got first involved at the YPN committee at the national level. From there, as Kim said, there's kind of two tracks. I kind of diverged to the political side, the advocacy, the Realtor Party side, which most of you know is kind of my passion in the purple suit. And I was on the national trustees. I've been on the Major Investor Council, back on the trustees. And I've also had the distinct privilege, because I did speak up and out, I guess, to serve on a couple PAGs for NAR in the Realtor Party and currently governance. So it's a great pathway, and we're talking about NAR committees, be involved at the NC Realtors level is important too. because you really get a great perspective of what the entire association is doing and how things move through and how we truly do affect a lot of change.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, I did ask for some questions from some of our up and coming leaders. And so these were some of the hot topics that they wanted to know about. But what is the level of time commitment? Now, you all have served on different PAGs and committees and whatnot, and I'm sure they all have a different level of time commitment, but can you kind of go over the basics for us?
Amy, I'll just kick it off for us. The time commitment is kind of what you choose it to be and how invested you are in that position. Most of the positions are not going to be a vast amount of time commitment. If you just read the materials and participate when asked to participate. As you grow in your involvement, when you first start out, most of those committees, it's really not a lot. It's twice a year meetings. You are expected to travel to those meetings, so there is an expense of travel. To the mid-year meeting in DC, and then the annual meeting generally at the end of the year. But now they're virtual, so it's kind of a new blend. Being involved at that point really helps.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, Randall. So that brings me to question number 2, which is, if I travel to these national meetings, is there any reimbursement to my expenses?
Well, that depends on what position you hold at the local or the state level. I know when I went, my very first time when I went, like I was telling you, I was a GAC vice chair, that was reimbursable, right? But then I actually paid for the next 3 years, and I was on a streak. I had been to every mid-year since 2008 until last year. And for 2008, 2009, 2010, I paid my own dollar to go, other than 2008, I paid my own dollar. And then once I got to be on the leadership for the local, I started being reimbursed.
Excellent.
I'll agree with Asa. I think it depends on your local association policy. So if you're interested in getting involved, check with your local association, as well as depending on your leadership level at NC Realtors. So, the reimbursement there just varies. Same as Asa, when I served as president of the Chapel Hill Association Realtors and went to my first legislative meetings, I got hooked. And from then on, I always went to DC on my own dollar, because that is one of the most amazing meetings to go to, get energized and represent. So it's dollars well spent. You're investing in yourself, in your knowledge and the profession. So I think that's the commitment you look at as it's a cost of doing business.
I can't agree with you more, Kim. Thank you. All right, guys, how does the application process work? And when are the deadlines?
I believe March.
Go
ahead, Kim.
Well, I was going to say that the deadlines aren't out for 2021 application process, which would put you on committees in 2022, but it's an online process. And I think it was touched on in the video. The key is to update your profile. That's one of the steps in preparing. And I highly recommend that everybody go right now to or let's say when the forum is over, go to the NAR site and pull up your profile and fill it in, update it, and get as much information on there. As well as, one of the requirements is you have to have a video. So make sure that information is current in the process. So that's the first step in applying. I'll let somebody else cover step 2.
Kim, are you going to be using your role in that last video for your NAR expertise profile? Because it was very well directed, I got to say.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, I got it. Okay.
I don't think that qualifies me for much.
All right, guys. Do you have any recommendations on how to best complete the expertise profile and get your recommendations?
Amy, one of the things that I definitely think that folks should take into consideration when they're doing the expertise profile is the fact of, as most of us in the industry right now, we've been in past careers. We have knowledge bases in other areas of expertise, and it takes all those areas of expertise. So fill those out on your profile. If you have an accounting background and you've worked in accounting for a long time, so maybe the finance side of the world. If you've been in events, maybe you've been in an area of HR where the cultural and diversity piece is there. definitely fill those segments out, because these expertise profiles going forward not only are great for committees, but they're also, NAR is working on the system to be able to, as we need focus groups, they're going to be truly pulling from these expertise profiles to get people that are subject matter experts, so that we have the best and brightest minds across the US. So to all those people who are currently interested, I would say this is also to the people who've been involved for quite a while. Go back and update your profiles. Think about those trainings and such that you do. It's going to be critically important moving forward because of the path that we're taking forward. One thing I'd like to add too, Amy, is as we're talking, and maybe we're going to get to the recommendation piece there, and I know we all know Lee very well, and we love Lee to death. One of the things to take note is that NAR leadership, current leadership, cannot put recommendations out. So anybody who is a liaison, who is on the executive committee, they're typically not going to be the best source for your referrals. So if you're needing questions or help with those, any of us on this panel or your strategic team, reach out to us. We're happy to help you with some of those folks. But definitely, unfortunately, Lee won't be one that we can use next year.
Or Asa, right? Aren't you
Correct.
also? Yes. So sorry, Asa, you won't be getting inundated with 1,000 emails this year. I'm so sorry. But we haven't heard from you in a little bit, Asa. So is there a minimum requirement to serve in previous boards?
That was something that was a topic when I was in the Leadership Academy. Like, did you have to be the president of your local or your state? I don't think you do. I think when it does do is, if you have been, it does show that your local and your state has shown some confidence in you, and you have demonstrated the ability and desire to be involved at those levels. And so you're more apt to get selected for a national committee. But I don't think there is an actual requirement that you have to do it, but I know that it is good to have it, and because it does show your level of commitment, and it shows that your state or your local has shown some confidence in you, and that you are someone that will represent on a national level.
Excellent, thank you. And guys, what's the benefits that you've gotten from being involved at NAR?
I know for me,
Well, I think
go ahead.
Let's
You
start
take
with
it this
Asa.
time, Asa.
There we go. Yeah.
I know for me, when I first got involved, it was all about building my network, learning more about contributing, finding out people who are like-minded. And I was taught early on in life, your network is your net worth, right? And so, when I first started this, I didn't have a large network, and so what I wanted to do was build as many relationships with people that were caring about their communities, caring about private property rights, home ownership, and the industry that we work in. And so as I went through the years, I was building that network. I made some amazing friends. I got a lot of referrals. And now here I sit with, someone I can pretty much talk to in every state, in this country. And so when you look at it, your network is your net worth. I have built a pretty good net worth over the years.
Excellent point. Kim?
Yes, so I would definitely add on to the network. And to me, it's the depth of knowledge that you gain, not only from your network, but being involved at NAR. And the more knowledge, the better you can be as a realtor, which benefits your clients. So it comes full circle, your involvement. And, it just, if you're going to be in leadership at the state level, it makes that depth of knowledge even grander to support North Carolina. But for yourself and your clients, the knowledge that you gain is great. So that's a big part. And like Asa, it's wonderful to have connections all across the country, and someone you can ask for information and ideas that's different than what we're doing in North Carolina. It's always good to broaden your perspective.
Good point. Randall?
I definitely echo those sentiments. As I think Asa and Kim both said, in the beginning, you're self-funding yourself, so you're paying for yourself to go. And I was always asked the question, well, why are you doing this? Well, what's the purpose? And I'm like, well, my key takeaways were, one, if I ever come back from a meeting or a conference and I've not learned something both that will help me personally, that will help me professionally in my life or in my professional business, as well as my association world, that'll be the day that I stop going to these meetings and trainings. And I'm about 7 years in and it's not happened yet. And I just find it's enriching experiences. It's building that network of people. It's a close-knit group of folks that I can call when it's a really bad day. If somebody's they've probably been there too. and we can just, soundboard off of each other. This past year, obviously with being virtual, I think a lot of us and folks will tell you that it's been tough, especially for those of us that have been involved for a while, because the relationships that we've built and not been able to see these folks over the past year, it's been tough because you do grow into like family with each other. And I think that's one of the huge takeaways is just the camaraderie that you build on top of all of the education and the knowledge base to bring back.
That's for sure. Well, to finish it up, I'd like to thank again Randall, Asa, and Kim for joining me here today. You guys, your knowledge is boundless, and really appreciate it. If anybody out there has any questions about getting involved at NAR, Mackenzie has put up in the chat the link to the NAR Strategy Committee. These are folks who are involved at the NAR level. It includes your panelists today. I'm on it as well. And we're happy to talk to you and get you guys involved. It's definitely something that we would like to do in any way we can. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Kelly, for the opportunity to have this panel. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Great video, great panel discussion. And I can tell you my involvement with NAR has been tremendous. It is a tremendous amount of networking, but it's just quite honestly knowledge and being able to bring back to this area into North Carolina and realize, for example, like electronic notary, which is being practiced by most of the states in the entire Southeast region of the United States. And now North Carolina has it through March, and hopefully that's one of our legislative initiatives for this year to make it permanent. So every little bit helps. And thank you to everybody who is involved on the committees, both currently and today, whether you're local, whether you're state, or even at the NAR level. It certainly gives you excuse me, a voice, identifying the new opportunities, guiding projects and policies, and shaping the future of all of our associations, local and state. So think about stepping up to the World National Committee. You got a wealth of information. So please reach out. That concludes the membership forum. I want to offer my gratitude once again to all the guests, presenters, immediate past presidents. And again, congratulations, very special congratulations to Marin. Everyone, please have a great afternoon. Try and do something nice for yourself. Take care.